All right, ladies, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4-step process, which is all you need to know how you need to navigate dating in order to get to marriage. Let's get into it. All right, so this is a 4-step process that my wife and I came up with as we have been helping women like yourself date for marriage, Christian women. And it's very simple. It's very easy. I'm going to walk you through it. There are a few nuances, but just for some context, we last year we helped 2 women get married. So far this year, we've helped 3 women marry. And we do have another woman who's engaged to be married in a couple of months. And we've helped at least a dozen or more, maybe a couple dozen women enter into exclusive relationships with Christian men, godly men, men that who they have been praying for, who meet their standards. So that is sort of our background and our context and what I wanted to present you with before just giving you some random information, because you're like, who are these guys and why do I need to listen to them? Well, you don't have to, but if you have been hoping and praying for a godly man, if you've been hoping and praying for marriage, and you have been struggling, or maybe you've just been hearing crickets, or maybe you just haven't been meeting the man that you've been praying for, then listen up, because this video is for you. So let's go ahead, let's dive in. I'm going to make this very quick, hopefully in under 10 minutes. I'm going to give you our 4-step process. Okay. And the first thing that we're going to start with, I'm just going to draw this diagram for you, is called active dating. Okay. So if you are not dating right now, because we do webinars and, we walk women through for free through this process that my wife did, link below to join the webinar that we're having this Thursday. But we run a poll at the beginning, and majority of the women are not actively dating and they're waiting. Okay. For whatever reason. But surprise, surprise, if you want to meet men and you want to meet a husband, a godly man, then our approach is to actively position yourself in the dating market so that you can meet godly men. Now, if you believe that a man will just show up to your front door and ask you to be his wife, this video isn't for you. We might not be your coaches. Okay. If you think that God will send you a spouse to your front door and you don't have to do anything, we might not be those coaches that can help you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe that. I'm just saying this might not be the platform for you. But if you are a believer that you believe that you can actively position yourself, and that's not playing God, and you are doing your part, just like if you didn't have a job, you would go and apply for different positions, whether on LinkedIn or Indeed or Recruiter, different recruiting agencies. If you see dating similar to that, then my wife and I, we can help you. Okay. And the first thing that we want to do is actively date. And what that means is not be passive, not wait, but actively show up and position yourself to meet godly men. Where can you do that? Okay. You can do that on dating apps. You can go to speed dating events. There may be churches in your area who hold singles mixers, or they have a singles ministry. Okay. And that singles ministry might host events, singles nights, workshops, game nights, etc. Go to those type of events and those type of mixers. That way you're actively positioning yourself to meet a godly man. Okay. If you're not doing that, then we can't help you. Okay. Because this is a platform for action. We do believe in faith. And we also believe in faith without works is dead. And a part of your works, just like you would apply for a job, is to hop on a dating app or go to a speed dating event or go to a singles event that your church is having, or go to some Christian leadership conference, etc., etc., etc. Okay, we want you to position yourself in an environment where there are single Christian godly men, and this is many different places where you can actively position yourself to date for marriage. Okay, because godly men have to see you, and a godly man has to see you and think, who is that woman? I want to get to know her. She may or may not be my wife. I have no idea, but I'm interested in her. I'm attracted to her. Let me see what's up. Okay, if you're not in that position, then he's not going to reach out. Okay, so that's position step number one, actively date. Now, step number two, after we position ourselves in the dating market, step number two is going to be talk to men. Okay, and I get it. You know, some of you have been hurt before talking to men. Some of you have been deceived by men. Some of you have been talked down to by men. Some of you don't trust men. I get it. Okay, but you have to talk to a man in order to get married. Okay, there's no way around that. Okay, and you have to open yourself up. Okay, be vulnerable in some instances and put yourself out there to get married. And I know that's scary for some of you. And I know that is emotional for some of you, and I get it. However, here at When I Love, we help you through those types of things, okay? Which, you know, I personally in our program, women post in the group chat, and I tell them, this man is thinking this. This man might not be ready to commit to you. This man is trying to play you. This man, insert whatever I'm thinking that man is doing based on my perspective as a man who has dated before. Okay, so if you can't, you know, access our program, which the link below if you want to join our webinar, you know, and join our Christian Dating Academy. However, you don't need us, okay, because we're not the only people. If you have a godly man, maybe your father, maybe your pastor, maybe an older brother, an uncle, ideally a male who you can go to, who's experienced, who's older, who's lived his life, who you can rely on and lean on for help. Now, maybe you think a man is talking funny, or maybe you think a man is acting funny, or maybe you and a man was getting on for 3 weeks and then 3 days go by and he doesn't text you. What do you do next? Should you reach out? Should you not? These types of questions. That's what we help you with. That's what my wife and I, we help you with in the Christian Dating Academy here at When I Love. So just to help you ease those fears. Okay. But if you don't have access to us, then go to a trusted male relative that you can sort of rely on and count on. Okay. And if you don't have that, a male first. If you don't have a male, then rely on a ideally married Christian woman, happily married Christian woman, okay, before anyone else. So talk to men. You have to talk to men, okay? And there's a skill set, and there are, you know, ways to think about this, but that's the next step. Step two is talk to men. Now, after you talk to men, here's step three. Okay, you're going to commit to the man you agree with for a set period of time. And that period is going to be largely predetermined. We call that a risk management strategy. Okay. Think of it like a trap that women fall into is they like a man, or they get into a relationship with a man and they stay there indefinitely, 10 years, 15 years, 17 years without any formal commitment of marriage. Okay. And that's just unnecessary. You don't have to do that. Men do not need all of that. Okay. So before getting into a relationship, you have in your head a largely predetermined amount of time that you will give him to vet you, and you're also going to be vetting him to determine if he's going to marry you or not. Okay. For some women, this is 6 months. For some women, this is a year. For some women, this is 18 months. We don't believe a man needs more than 6 months to a year to know if you're the one for him. And really, most men, 6 months is really the stretch. A year if he's, trying to propose. Okay, but 6 months to really figure out if you're the one for him, and then maybe he needs some time to get that engagement ring, etc. And then, maybe you're engaged within the year of the relationship. Okay, but 18 months is really, 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 really quite a stretch. Okay, so that's sort of how we see it. But you need to commit to the man who you agree with, not any man, not everyone, not every man that gives you attention, but the man whom you agree with, the man who meets your standards. Okay, and standards are the things that impact the integrity of the relationships. For example, how he treats you. Okay, not how much money he makes. That's a preference. Okay, now you can have some preferences. That's cool. Okay, but not 5, 6, and 7. Okay, but we focus on standards here, and preferences are just nice to have. So a man who meets your standards, okay, and y'all have similar enough vision and values in life. Okay, you commit to him for a predetermined amount of time, largely, whether that's 6 months, a year, etc. Okay, and during that year, you're continuing to vet, you're continuing to get to know him, you're continuing to see how much you agree. And after that, the last step from here is, and let me move this back. Step from here is you get married. Okay, that's it. After you meet a man who you agree with, okay, the only thing left from there is to fine tune things, largely. Like my wife and I, we believe that agreement is the important part. Okay, because the Bible says, can two walk together unless they have agreed? Okay, so you agree, and then you just sort of fine tune all the edge cases. How are we going to raise children? How much children we want to have? How do you deal with money? What are your thoughts around, sex and marriage, etc. All the types of things of life, how we want to live together, because we're coming together from two as one in a union. And how are we going to live that life together as one? These are all the things that you go through and discuss in the relationship. This is the purpose of the relationship, is so that you can get to know each other in a more intimate way, not talking about sexual intimacy, but in a more intimate way, so that you align your lives together, to see if it's possible. Because just because you get into a relationship doesn't mean you're going to get married. Okay, you might not fully align with everyone who you get into a relationship with. Getting into a relationship just means that you agree enough to exclusively vet each other for marriage. That's it. That's all that it is. So that is the stage 3. Stage 4 is to get married. So once you enter that relationship and you vet each other enough to say, okay, I'm willing to bet the rest of my life on this person. We have agreed in this, all of these areas that are important to me, right? And for him, all the areas that are important to him. We agree on all of these things. Let's confirm this in marriage. And that's step 4. And that's the entire process that you need to do. Of course, there is going to be more nuance. Of course, there are things at each stage and skills to develop at each stage that are going to help you. But this is all that you have to do. And this is all, you have to do in the exact process to walk from single to married in this dating phase. So there's a link below. We're hosting a webinar this weekend. If that interests you, if you want to join the Christian Dating Academy, we'll walk you through this in great detail. And you'll have my wife and I as your personal coach on your journey. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.